Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Gallic Gun Toys. Thank you very much for joining me today in part 4, and which is also our final part of our Dragon Ball storage, Dragon Ball collection that's in storage. So we started off going through a nice big tote full of figures, and this is finally the last of them. So I've gone through, I've lost count of how many figures, unbagged them, rebagged them, put them back away, and now we are finally here at part 4, and we can finally do the last ones. So I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit so we don't run as long as the last one, because I'm pretty sure we ran for over 20 minutes. So here we have Energy Blasting Cell. I will just get a few of these out so we got something to look at while I open the rest of these up, guys. Give him his sword there. Yajirobe. Fat Boo out. Alright, and we'll get a few more out so we can just really get into this and make some headway really quickly. Swords are all a bit bent up from being in storage. Okay, so I will start with what we have here. So starting off, we'll start with Dabura. One of those characters that, like I've mentioned, if you've watched the other 3 parts, guys, one of these characters that just looks phenomenal still. A lot of the Gokus and Vegetas and Gohans have not held up with time, but this Dabura, damn, I'm seriously considering taking Dabura and a few of these other margin figures like Yakon and stuff and actually putting them in a display somewhere because they look really good. So we've got Buuhan, or Gohan Absorbed Super Buu. A nice figure. I think he was on the rarer side back in the heyday of collecting these guys. So we've got Yajirobe here. He is from, I believe, the first series. I can't remember the name of it, but they came on a blue blister card. Blue cardboard back blister. And yeah, he came with Korin and a little sword. And yeah, just pretty solid figure even today. Holds up pretty well. Now one that doesn't hold up very well. GT Trunks. Look at that face. Look at that head. That head just looks way too big for that body. Just, I don't know what they were thinking. They did some good stuff. Jakks Pacific, or Jakks, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is Jakks. So this is Jakks in 2003. And I'm pretty sure this is Jakks in 2004. So 1 year later. That's what they did with their GT figures when, you know, they were producing stuff like Buu here. Some of their GT figures aren't terrible, but just a lot of them aren't particularly fantastic. Okay, so I think I missed a couple here. So we've got the sorry guys, Supreme Kai outfit Gohan with the Z sword. He is missing his little Super Saiyan bang up there. We've got the Fat Buu. Pretty good representation. Holds up pretty well today. We've got, and the other one I missed. And of course they're all going to fall. So we'll just pop them at the back there. because So we've already looked at those. Sorry guys, this is a little bit of a pain with all of these because not all of them stand that well. So we've got Imperfect Cell. I'm missing the wings. There's an energy blasting one, and like I've mentioned, some of the energy blasting ones are just the best and hold up really well. Not including the ones I've mentioned like Deborah and Spopovich and Fleet and a few others. And here we've got GT Vegeta in his vest. Pretty horrible looking figure, but I am a Vegeta fanboy, so it still does something for me, opposed to the rest of the GT figures. So we've got Goku from the, that'll focus, from the same line as the Gohan with the Z sword, I'm pretty sure. And then we've got the same Goku, but this one came with a vehicle, I'm pretty sure, so he has the gold hair, but exactly the same figure. Now, moving on to another action pose one. This one was always one of my favorites. I had a different version of this as a kid, a different painted version. It was just the plain black and the Super Saiyan. I can't seem to get him to stand like I used to be able to. But I always loved this particular Trunks because it was him when he goes and finishes off the androids in the final episode of the Cell Saga. And yeah, just a really cool figure. Well, the original one I feel was a lot better because it had the nice bright yellow hair, a bit brighter than this, and all this was like a nice black. But this was a nice re-release, and I was glad to pick that up when I did because it was a nice throwback to the one I had as a kid. Here's a GT one I don't hate a great deal. That's Super Baby Vegeta. He's pretty cool looking, not too bad, holds up alright today, considering what most of the GT line looks like. He does hold up alright. And here we've got a Super Saiyan Vegeta from GT in the vest. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just trying to sort some of this as I go, so I've got some room. Okay, so we'll move him back here. Make room with some of these guys so we can fit the rest in, because we've got quite a bit left to go. So here we've got Hercule. I think he's missing his belt, I'm pretty sure he came with. Now, this next one is one of my favorites of the originals. I just really love this Gero. I feel like they really nailed it. Even when I was a kid, I loved this particular figure. It's really cool, and you take his hat off, like so, and you can see his brain underneath there. So that is really cool, and still holds up very well today. And used to always see that guy in bins, in like sale bins at markets and stuff. So here we've got Pikkon. Pikkon's little hat comes off, so you can see his little green head if you're into that sort of thing. And then we've got Chaozu. Chaozu also came with like a little one of those like it's like a Japanese hat. I can't remember what they're called. See samurais wearing them sometimes in artwork or movies or anime. It's going to drive me nuts now not being able to remember what the name of those hats are. But yeah, he also came with that hat, which makes me think that Maybe that might actually be, I can't remember if he ever actually wore that outfit in Dragon Ball Z. Maybe when he was finished with his training before the Saiyans came. I can't remember. But you can take his head off, and this comes off. And obviously his big sun hat, or whatever the hell it is called, comes off. Great Saiyaman. We already looked at this figure in, I think it was the first part of this series of storage videos I'm doing. And he has the Great Saiyaman turban on instead of the helmet, and this is just the exact same figure. He just came with two different heads, and because I am who I am, I have two versions so I can have both on display. Here we've got a Super Saiyan Gohan in his training gear from when he's training just before the World Martial Arts Tournament. And this one is a later Jax figure. I think it's from like 2003. And that one came with a very, very horrible looking Goten figure. I'm pretty sure I got rid of really quickly, because it looked horrible, and I had already had the one that you saw in a previous video. Okay, so the next one we've got is Trunks. I remember a friend getting this one when I was a kid and being very, very jealous, because this was when Trunks had just debuted, or just before Trunks showed up on the scene. And yeah, that was just a cool figure. Doesn't hold up very well today. It just looks a little bit off, in my personal opinion, but maybe it looks a bit better to you. So we'll move the Gohan out of the way, and we'll do some GT ones quickly. So we've got Baby here. He came in a 2-pack with Dr. Mew, which we will get to shortly. Here we've got GT Goku. Pretty shitty figure, like the rest of the like a good chunk of the GT figures. Some of them are very nice. Some of them are okay. Super Saiyan 3. Kid Goku, that face speaks for itself. I don't think I need to shit on it anymore. I think that it does it all on its own right there. Super Saiyan Goku, still not the greatest, but still better than the Super Saiyan 3. And I gotta keep reminding myself, these figures are nearly 20 years old, some of them. Closer to 15, but, you know, they're over 15 years old, most of these figures, if not all of them. So, yeah. And you know, like, you do get lucky. You have figures like the Dabura, you have figures like, you know, even Chaozu and Babidi here. You know, Babidi looks really good. My mum would say he looks like a testicle, and she'd be right, but that's completely accurate, because that is what Babidi looks like. And I have to say, I think Babidi might be sticking around, along with Dabura and a few of these other figures, because, guys, they look really good, and I'm thinking I might have to display them with the rest of my collection, especially for the characters I don't have. Like Gero and Dabura and Babidi. You know, there's not Banpestro statues or SH Figuarts or anything of those. So, you know, they might be really good stand-ins. So Nappa here is from very, very early in the series that he came from. I think he's from the same series as Chaozu and the Dr. Gero and the Babidi. But yeah, really nice figure, has his scouter. Pretty basic, but still holds up pretty well today. And this one here, I'm actually a little bit disappointed at myself, because I think it's more the articulation and the paint that did it for me. But I remember when I bought this figure for the first time back in the day, this one I bought secondhand. That's why it's a bit chipped up. But when I bought this figure the first time, brand new, I remember being so impressed with the articulation. You got to remember this is 2003. I was just so impressed with the articulation and just the overall look of Vegito here, and I just felt like it just nailed that base Vegito look. It still looks really good today, just doesn't hold up quite as well as it does in my memory, because your memory is always something's always gonna look, or you're always gonna remember it better sometimes. So here we have Dr. Mew from the GT line. Now this one, the battle damage one, came with the baby that I showed you guys just before, the little baby. And this one, actually, it was years before I ever noticed this, but his head actually pops open. And I bet there's a lot of people that have this figure that never actually knew this. And he has the, accurately, the 1-star Black Star Dragon Ball inside of his head. Which I always thought, after I actually figured it out, I always thought was pretty cool. So yeah, Dr. Mew looks pretty cool. One of the better GT characters, GT figures, in my opinion. And here we have Piccolo. Now this one is from the same line as the Nappa. I just think he was a couple series later. But yeah, I always like this one. His hat comes off. Just basic, but I love the flowing cape. I feel like that's really cool. And it still holds up pretty well today. It doesn't look that bad. Then we've got Pan with her backpack. And I'm pretty sure she came with Giru, which I had. Oh, I've already brought Giru out. So, yeah, she came with Giru. And he does actually have the Dragon Radar as a sticker on his back. So I'll put him back there. Make some room there. So that Gohan there is the same as the Goku, came with a vehicle. So I won't bother wasting any time on that. Pretty basic figure. And we're almost going in 20 minutes again, guys, but this is probably going to be the biggest one. And we've only got a few left, so I will quickly speed it along. So here is Bulma. Cool. Actually, nice figure. Pretty good representation of Bulma at the time, and for the time it was put out, it was pretty good. Here's one of the bikes that I mentioned. I'm pretty sure that came with a older Gohan figure. Okay, alright, down to the last 4 guys. So fourth last is Yamcha, and he came with Puar. And I don't think he came with anything else. I think maybe these figures came with a Dragon Ball each, or 3 Dragon Balls, I can't remember. I think it was like 3 Dragon Balls and like a little tin medallion or something. So we got Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, not the greatest figure, as I've mentioned with the GT figures. And we're running out of room here, so it's just as well we're on to the last 2 now. So here we have Cell. This Cell is a action pose one, same as the special coloured Super Saiyan Trunks we looked at before. Oh, okay, it's his hand. Okay, so that's it. Oh, yeah, he's got that's his action feature. Wow. Wow, that's pathetic. I thought he just seized up, or I couldn't figure out how to make him kick or something, but no, that's his pathetic action feature. Very, very pathetic. Okay, we're finally on to the last one, guys. And thank you so much for putting up with me through these videos. If you've watched all 4 of them and you've stuck through to the end, good on you, because oh my god, what a monumental effort these videos were to shoot. And I'm sure they're probably going to be a monumental effort to actually get through, because at nearly 20 minutes apiece, I do apologise for the length, a lot longer than I like to keep my videos, guys. So thank you very much for joining me in part 4 of my Dragon Ball storage collection. And yeah, we're going to wrap this up. I will, if you guys enjoyed this, I will be doing a collection video tour of all the stuff I have at my mum's place, which is where I store a lot of my collectibles that I don't have room for at home. So I will be going into detail of the rest of the Dragon Ball figures I have actually on display there, not in storage. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.